It's the early 2000s and the internet is a much different place, with popular websites like MySpace, Homestar Runner, 4chan, and a little website called Newgrounds. Newgrounds lets you share animations, games, chat on forums, and the series we'll be looking at today, Madness Combat. Probably one of the most influential and underrated series out there, which ended up turning into games, merchandise. This animation series is loved for its crazy action, fast-paced animation, and an insanely dedicated niche fan base. Now this series seems to strike up mainstream attention every couple years. I swear it's like a cycle, but we're gonna have to take it back to the beginning with this one. Madness Combat started all the way back in the year of our Lord 2002, and it recently just had its 23rd anniversary, making it 23 years old. Now, this animation was made with Adobe Flash, an application released in 1996, which carried most of our childhoods with games like Balloons Tower Defense, Territory Wars, Happy Wheels. Flash carried the indie scene in the 2000s, but Madness Combat was one of the more popular things made on Adobe Flash by an animator called Crinkles. Crinkles is the godfather of Madness Combat, but he did have help making these animations, mostly from Cheshire, who produced the insane soundtrack for this series. While Newgrounds had many peak animations, Madness Combat seems to be the one that stuck. Now the series spans 12 episodes, each one having its own original soundtrack, and many spin-offs and games like I said earlier. Now, Madness Combat has expanded to more than just the main series. There's spin-off animations and games that have been made, such as Project Nexus being one of the most popular. So there are two games of the classic version from 2012 and the reboot, which was released in 2021. Which, if you haven't checked out the 2021 version, that might be your entryway to the series, because that game is good. Even though I might have raged out back in the day when I played it. You also can't forget the Incident series, which are little fun short animations that Crinkles would release here and there. Madness Combat's short-form content is almost an entire different section on its own, with the memes and the small animations that end up turning into a whole series. And we also have the 0.5 episodes in between, which, if you count those in the main series, it technically has 16 episodes. But you may be asking, this doesn't really seem like a lot of content to go on for 20 plus years, and that's where the next segment comes in. The backbone of the Madness community, the thing that's kept it going for 20 plus years, is the amazing creativity shown from the community. They have made countless amounts of fan animations that almost are more quality than the main series, some would argue. Especially with the very recent animation called Bridge Mankind Collapse, which is almost a movie in itself. You've got countless amounts of fan games and lore that I didn't even know existed after watching the whole series. And these are all being released to this day, which is insane because the first fan animation was released in 2003, so we've been getting 22 years of fan content. This has definitely played a huge role in why it's lasted 23 years, besides it just being quality. But there have been other factors that have kept it going all the way till 2025. Now in 2020, a little game called Friday Night Funkin' was released on Newgrounds, which blew up to insane numbers during the pandemic time. This is a rhythm game which I swear there's only a small percentage of the population that can actually play, because this is definitely one of those try-hard games. Now this game had a lot of mods come out with it too, and the Madness Combat ones were one of the more popular, which blew up the Madness Combat series in the 2020s. Now this is around the same time when I released my first reaction videos to this series in October of 2020, which is where a lot of this channel's success came from, because I happened to upload the reactions right before the Madness Combat mods came out. I clearly remember people in the comments acting like I was the only one reacting to it. That's far from the truth now. So since 2020, I will say I think the series has blown up quite a bit more. It's a lot more mainstream. It did get millions of views back on Newgrounds, but definitely a lot more mainstream after Friday Night Funkin' came out. Now the Friday Night Funkin' trend has kind of died down, but the Madness Combat community keeps going on, with the most recent release only being last year, Madness Combat 12, and insane fan collabs that are still coming out, such as the most recent Hackerman System Override, which is definitely a peak collab. almost 30 minutes of madness that does not get boring. So needless to say, Madness Combat can survive on its own even without Friday Night Funkin'. It has before and will continue to after, but the future of the series is a bit unknown at the moment. Now we do have our Madness Days every single year, so there's always a fresh wave of content there, but we've yet to hear any updates on any new mainline entries. Now, besides the series still going on to this day, Madness Combat has left a legacy on the internet, with it inspiring many animators and small indie devs who have gone on to make projects of their own, and it being a part of the early internet creativity, which led way to things today like the indie horror games, most of the indie scene. I mean, you have to remember, this animation series was released pre-YouTube, and I'm sure creative websites and series like this was a huge inspiration for the creators of YouTube, which the early days of YouTube could be a damn video in itself. But a series that goes on for 23 years on the internet is bound to inspire thousands of creatives and influence their work in many ways, which is why I think the series is underrated in some ways, because a lot of creatives don't even realize the influences they take in their work. Especially with the series being this old, they probably watched it when they were very young. It's touched many different parts of the internet, and it's kept people entertained and interested longer than most well-funded companies can. But that was it for this Madness Combat video. Definitely a different type of video than I usually make. I'm trying to change up the content here. I am still thinking about watching animations and reacting, but maybe on stream instead of video form. With YouTube's new vague guidelines, I'm not really sure if they like reaction videos anymore, but who knows, maybe they do. But don't think I'm gonna stop posting Madness videos, just a different type, and maybe see y'all on stream with some animations. But if you're new to the Madness Combat community, I'd suggest watching the original series on YouTube, or go to the source Newgrounds. There's a bunch of other dope animations and games on that website. And Newgrounds was started all the way back in the mid-90s, so that website is a relic in itself. But if you guys enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave in the comments section some more topics you guys want to hear about Madness. There's so much to go over in this series. I'm not even touching the surface with this video here. Basically just a basic overview of the series, maybe for newcomers that haven't seen it before. But I'll see y'all in the next one, man.